We did it. Holy smokes. Guys, if we could stop what you're doing, go ahead, grab a drink, because I want us to do a cheers together. Because RFK Jr. just passed the Senate committee, and now he is moving forward to the full Senate floor vote. This is huge. This is incredible. So go grab your drink, because I'm gonna pop this open right now. All right, you got it. You got it. Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. Cracking open my San Pellegrino right here. All right, and gotta use a straw. All right, I'm a straw guy. This is actually a Starbucks straw. I like grabbing them and then just like reusing them time and again. Who knows how many times I've used this. I probably just like washed and reused the same straw like so many times. It's crazy. It's, I don't know, it's recycling. This is how you do it. I love it. All right. Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. We did it. I am so proud. There's still work to be done, but that doesn't mean that we don't start celebrating now. This is a big, big deal. This is a huge win. All right. Cheers. It's so good. Man, what a day. What a morning. Cheers. I'm going to do one more sip, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about what happened this morning. Wow. All right. Real quick, guys, welcome back to the Adam C. Moreno Show. I hope you're doing good. If your name is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., you are doing very, very good today. If you're watching this, how are you doing? Hope you're happy. Hope you're ready to make America healthy again. It'd be so funny if anyone on your team is watching. I'm ready. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this. RFK Jr. He was approved by the Senate committee that he had a hearing with. So this is it wasn't the most. It wasn't like a landslide victory, but you know what? It's okay. I actually have a couple of thoughts on this whole idea of a landslide, because some people are. I saw this headline today by Axios. Let me see if I could bring it up real quick. But Axios reported on this, and they said RFK Jr. survived. Right, that was the language that they used today. So yeah, check this out. Here it is. RFK Jr. survives Senate committee for HHS nomination. And I'm not saying that's not true. You know, it was close, but I'm saying, you know what? Victory is a victory. I love it either way. So let's go ahead and watch the vote. Practically every Republican voted yes. Every Democrat voted no. So if that tells you anything, go ahead. If you need your talking point, go for it. But check this out.
There is a second. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Grassley.
Aye.
Mr. Grassley, aye. Mr. Cornyn.
Aye.
Mr. Cornyn, aye. Mr. Thune.
Aye.
Mr. Thune, aye. Mr. Scott.
Aye.
Mr. Scott, aye. Mr. Cassidy.
Aye.
Mr. Cassidy, aye. Mr. Langford.
Aye.
Mr. Langford, aye. Mr. Daines.
Aye.
Mr. Daines, aye. Mr. Young. Mr. Young, aye. Mr. Barrasso. Mr. Barrasso, aye. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, aye. Mr. Tillis. Mr. Tillis, aye. Mrs. Blackburn. Mrs. Blackburn, aye. Mr. Marshall. Mr. Marshall, aye. Mr. Wyden.
No.
Mr. Wyden, no. Ms. Cantwell.
No.
Ms. Cantwell, no. Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bennett, no. Mr. Warner. Mr. Warner, no. Mr. Whitehouse. Mr. Whitehouse, no. Ms. Hassan. Ms. Hassan, no. Ms. Cortez Masto. Ms. Cortez Masto, no. Ms. Warren.
No.
Ms. Warren, no. Mr. Sanders.
No.
Mr. Sanders, no. Ms. Smith.
No.
Ms. Smith, no. Mr. Lujan.
No.
Mr. Lujan, no. Mr. Warnock.
No.
Mr. Warnock, no. Mr. Welch. Mr. Welch, no. Mr. Chairman. Chairman votes aye. Mr. Chairman, the final tally is 14 ayes, 13 nays.
The vote was, would the clerk please restate the vote?
Mr. Chairman, the final tally is 14 ayes, 13 nays.
The vote was 14-13. The nomination is reported favorably. We will now turn to other senators who would like to make a statement.
There we go. Final vote. 14-13. This is incredible. This is a huge win. And you know what? A lot of people are praising Senator Bill Cassidy because he really was the deciding vote on RFK Jr. And he shared this tweet minutes before he got on that floor to cast his vote. He sent this out, and this is the most important tweet here. This is the most important tweet of the day. It has over 5 million views. This is huge. Right. It was somewhat of a good thing because Republicans against Trump tweeted saying, "Shame on you." Okay, so let's just go ahead and read it. So this is from Bill Cassidy, has an MD. So this is a really big deal. He says, "I've had very intense conversations with Bobby and the White House over the weekend and even this morning. I want to thank Vice President JD specifically for his honest counsel. With the serious commitments I've received from the administration and the opportunity to make progress on the issues we agree on, like healthy foods and a pro-American agenda, I will vote yes." This was the moment. This was everything. This is exactly what RFK Jr. needed. This was it's impossible to understand how astronomical this was. We have Charlie Kirk out here saying, "Thank you, Senator Cassidy. RFK Jr. won't let you down. Together, we will make America healthy again." And I love this kind of diagnosis from Jillian Michaels because I really I think this breakdown is interesting, and it made me appreciate kind of the circumstances that we see today. But Jillian Michaels shares this. She added President Trump, you could have brought RFK Jr. into the fold to win over the independent votes and then thrown him to the wolves in the Senate hearings. But instead, you and JD Vance kept your word and leaned in to get this through. So there are people out there who still have concerns about President Trump, and maybe rightfully so. I'll be honest. President Trump hasn't shown up the exact way that I imagined to. I'm let down in very certain areas too. But this is politics. This is going to be a ruthless world. You're not always going to be happy. I understand that. But I think one of the wins that I'm seeing here that she just shared is President Trump. He kept his word. He did the thing. He did everything he could. Just yesterday, we made a video, and I was saying well, no, President Trump was saying that he was calling people personally. He was calling senators personally. He's calling Republicans, saying, "Hey, vote yes on the nominees. Vote yes on RFK Jr. Vote yes on Tulsi." And even the tweet that he posted on True Social the day before, calling all Republicans to stand in unity for his nominees, so they could actually do the things for the American people, the good things. So honestly, like I'm not saying the man is perfect, but my guy is working. And that's just something that I haven't seen from the past administration. So I think this is good. We got to count this as a huge win. And going back to the language that Bill Cassidy used, just because I think this is so interesting. Like there's so many key words here. So for one, very intense conversations. This tells me like his vote could have completely been a no. It could have been an unequivocal no. It could have been completely, but he actually chose to stand with the millions of people who were for this. And if I could even go ahead and, I don't know if you remember this, but whenever he was actually voting, like my guy was he was stressed out. Just look at the pen movement here. Right? Look at this.
Mr. Cassidy.
See that?
Aye. Mr. Langford.
He's shaken. He's concerned. Maybe rightfully so. I like to see someone with conviction here, right? I'd like to see people ponder. So it's good. But so very intense conversations, and it wasn't just with Bobby, okay? It wasn't just with RK Jr. It was with the White House. This is President Trump. This is JD Vance, and he even calls out JD Vance personally, saying, "I want to thank JD Vance specifically for his honest counsel. And this is another element here. I think like for future elections, I think I'm going to pay way more attention to vice presidents, honestly, just because of the sheer disappointment that I had with Kamala Harris and the the incredible blast of success that I've seen from JD Vance and just his sheer presence and transparency. So I love that. Right. And he even said like there are contingents here, and we can go ahead and talk about this later. There's another post that I want to share, but there are contingents, right? There are aspects of this where he has some concerns and they're weighing on him, but he didn't let those concerns paralyze him from standing with RFK Jr., from standing with the American people. It's almost like this idea of like, you know what? It's not perfect, but maybe it's good enough, and maybe good enough is going to be better than perfect, because if we're going to wait for perfect, then we're just going to be waiting forever. But maybe this is actually just a genuine step in the right direction. So that's what I'm seeing, and I love those words from Jillian, and it kind of just set me down that little rabbit hole to ponder. Now, I also want to share this. Look at this. This is by Lauren Lee. She's another person who's just been really critical in contributing to this national conversation regarding these more untraditional picks like RFK Jr. and Tulsi, and I really think these are the people who really push the national conversation forward. And I love that you contribute so heavily to the conversation. So I just want to call out people like Lauren Lee, Holden, Anna Matson. Like you guys are incredible, and I thank you guys for the work that you do, really. So today she says Senator Cassidy just cast the deciding vote on RFK Jr. and the American people won. And that takes me back to, the common expression after the first debate with President Trump and President Biden, because there was lacking in real areas on both sides, and so many people were feeling disappointed, and a lot of people were saying, you know what, I don't know if President Biden won, or I don't know if President Trump won, but I do know that the American people lost. So for this phrase to come back in a really meaningful way, the American people won, I just want to re-echo that, guys. Today, the American people won. All right, so many millions of people went ahead and they voted, and they voted for this expression of the future. They voted to make America healthy again. So between these two, with Bill Cassidy, with RFK Jr., with the Trump administration, I love it. She goes on to say, Maha was counting on him. This is what real leadership looks like. Thank you, Senator. This is just incredible. Wow. Now, there's one other thing, because I did say there were contingents, right? So he didn't just say he was going to support RFK Jr. and let him run wild. There are certain aspects of this where he had some concerns, and he expressed those concerns on the floor. So I won't play the whole video, but I will play the last 30 seconds. So check this out and listen closely.
Mr. Kennedy to succeed in making America healthy again. His success will be tied to the health of our nation. He has the opportunity to address the most pertinent issues affecting Americans' health. We also need to reform institutions like FDA and NIH, and those, as already been indicated, are my priorities as chairman of the Health Committee. I look forward to his support in accomplishing this. If confirmed, I look forward to working together with Mr. Kennedy to achieve President Trump's mission of improving the health of all Americans. And with that, I yield.
Okay, so now a quick summary of what happened. So Anna Matson, she went ahead and she posted like just just pretty much summarizing all of what he said. And there's some kind of wild demands here. And she starts this off by saying, read below and let me know if it was worth it. So go ahead, and I'm not going to read this verbatim, but go ahead and pause it, or screenshot if you need to. But from what I'm seeing here, it does seem like Cassidy is trying to put RFK Jr. on a leash and limit the amount of work that he could actually do. And it's just, I don't know, like I'm conflicted here, right? Because although Cassidy could be someone who's representing the ideals of part of maybe the science community, right? It's also limiting the possibility of the good that RFK Jr. could do. So I'm a bit conflicted, I'll be honest with you guys. But I will go ahead and share some of the comments that I was saying here. Check this out. One of the top comments says, Bill Cassidy is blank. I revoke the thanks I expressed to him earlier. These demands are only to serve the pharmaceutical industry, not the public, and certainly not the children. This is crazy. But, I think I'm more aligned with who Jacob Strickland is right here. This comment says Kennedy can agree to whatever he needs in order to obtain a vote. But once he's in charge, he is in charge. So I don't know. I do believe this, although I'm not excited to see some of these wild demands because you know what? I think I like this in the hands of RFK Jr. more than I like this in the hands of someone like Cassidy. But Cassidy was instrumental in getting RFK Jr. So there's a conflict here. But nonetheless, this is good stuff, and I do think we won today. But I also think it's interesting because like, although it's not perfect, I still think it might be enough. And maybe and this could totally develop as time goes on. But I just can't help but be grateful still in this moment. Like, what, regardless of details, regardless of whatever limitations there might be or might not be, I just can't help but think how close this was. And almost like there's this idea in me that I'm just like, oh my gosh, this shouldn't have happened. Like, this was impossible. This was almost like an impossible task. But then the words of like, oh man, you know what? This was an impossible task, but I serve the God of the impossible. And it's like, oh my gosh, well, that changes everything. Or even like President Trump saying the other day, like, in America, the impossible is what we do best. And these people that were uplifting, like the Pete Hexets, whose vote came down to a split decision at 51 and 50, with JD Vance casting the decision making vote. And it's like these disruptors that we're putting up, like, they aren't the most ideal, maybe they don't fit in everyone's little basket or check everyone's box, but these are the people who actually change the world. So that makes me excited. And and I just can't help but be grateful. It almost just doesn't really make sense, right? Like, how does it make sense that, I'm just imagining, like, David and Goliath. Like, it doesn't make sense that a small kid named David would go and take on a giant. It makes zero sense. Are you kidding me? It doesn't make sense that an angel would go ahead and appear before a woman who's a virgin and tell her, like, hey, you're actually gonna have a kid, and his name is gonna be Cheese. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that in the middle of 2024, on a hot day in July, that some kid would have the audacity to act and engage in political violence, to do something completely disgusting on top of a roof. But it doesn't make sense that that moment would actually be an inflection point that would develop into a partnership, because RFK Jr. caught him after hours after that moment, and that really changed everything, because now a relationship began. The next day, President Trump would go ahead and tweet to Truth Social saying RFK Jr. needs Secret Service. And boom, that skyrocketed RFK Jr. And then a deeper conversation began about how could we make America healthy again. And we also hear that President Trump extended the vice president a ticket to RFK Jr. and he declined it because he actually saw more potential in another role, which is leading the HHS. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But I remember in a song, I forget which song, but I think it's like by Hillsong, and they say God makes a fool of what makes sense. It's like it doesn't make sense, but maybe that's okay because there's a beauty in the mystery. So RFK Jr. passed today. I don't know when when the full Senate floor happens. There's some speculation saying that it's going to be on Thursday or early next week, and we're going to cover that too. We're going to be there for that moment. It's going to be incredible, and we're going to celebrate then whenever he passes. Okay, because I believe that, and I believe I'm looking at the next. I believe I'm looking at the next Secretary of HHS. So this is incredible. This is incredible. Today's a good day. All right. Anyways, that's the video. If you want to go ahead and cheers with me one last time, for actually not one last time, we're probably going to be cheering again on Thursday or Tuesday or early next week. But we got to celebrate these wins, all right? Because it doesn't make sense. But oftentimes the future is built on extraordinary and mysterious moments, and right now that is being expressed through the millions and millions of people who contacted their senators, reached out to them, emailed them, called them. And that was incredible. I'm grateful to have reached out to my senator, although my senator today just voted no, and now it causes me to reflect on how I'm going to be voting for them in the future. So, but it's in those moments, there's good here. All right. So I'm grateful for RFK Jr. I'm grateful for all of you because you guys are the ones who did it. I don't know how many people are going to watch this. I don't know how many people watched the previous videos. I don't know how much of a role I have here or my contribution here. I just make videos. But the people who watch these, you guys out here change the world. You guys are boots on the ground. You guys are doing the most. You guys are sending countless emails. You guys are sending countless calls. You guys are pushing humanity forward. You guys are making America healthy. And you guys were the ones who voted and stepped into this moment to tell this new story with this merger between President Trump and future Secretary RFK Jr. It's you guys. So, man, this is the first cheers was to RFK Jr. This cheers, this is a better cheers in my opinion because you guys made it all possible. But this cheers is for you. So go ahead and grab your drink and cheers with me. Cheers to you, the people who make this happen, the people who don't necessarily check all the boxes, who don't necessarily do what they're told, but the people who choose to push humanity forward and to tell these stories that change the world. Cheers to you guys. I love you guys so much. Man. Alrighty, guys. That's the end of this video. I know it's kind of different, but you know what? I think different is better than better. So I love it. All right, guys. I will see you all next time. Today is a good day. I hope you carry it with you. I hope you carry this energy and this optimism with you throughout the day. And this is good. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day. Oh, and make sure to like and subscribe. Why not? Episode's over already? Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.